Now we are going to do the derivation about Hermite shape function with respect to natural coordinate system. Previously we derived the with respect to the Cartesian. Now with respect to natural we'll take it. See again same figure. See they are asked say how many times. So that's why you have to practice well Hermite shape function derivation. See here beam element again if you consider with now we are going to consider with respect to the zeta because that is natural. At node 1 minus 1, at node 2 plus 1, zeta here minus 1 plus 1. Again nodal displacement q1 q2 or q1 theta 1 q2 theta 2 nothing but q2 q1 q2 q3 q4. Again Hermite shape functions are q1 for q1 it is h1, for q2 h2, q3 h3 and q4 h4. So now with respect to the origin, the Cartesian coordinates are x1 and this is x2. Node 1 at a distance of from the origin is x1. Node 2 it with respect to origin is x2. Therefore, the length of the element become x2 minus x1. So now we know that beam element having 2 degree of freedom. Therefore, what we are going to consider in the Hermite shape function. See h1 h2 h3 nothing but n1 n2 n3 n4. So here n1 here it is here translation slope. See h1 translation sorry h1 slope, h2 slope, h3 slope, h4 slope. See what we are taking the previously Hermite shape function with respect to Cartesian is uh, dn1 by dx. Now we are going to consider with respect to zeta. Either h1 h2 h3 4 or n1 n2 n3 4 both are same. Some textbook they use h, some textbook they use n only. You can follow anything, no problem. But the thing is here previously we taken slope as dn by dx, dn1 by dx or dn2 by dx or dn3 by dx. Similarly we are taking as with respect to the natural coordinate system, that is zeta. So therefore see here zeta minus 1 plus 1, here minus 1 plus 1. So h1 means here h1 is here when zeta equal to minus 1. Therefore the values will be 1 will be there, that is v1, 1 will be there. So at node 1, what is the slope will be there? Hello. Okay, better I will take it here, then it make very easy to. So let's consider the this one. uh, we're going to derive what is h1, what is h2, what is h3 h4 with respect to natural coordinate system or n1 n2 n3 n4. See, we are going to consider same thing. How we consider there polynomial function, same polynomial function we're going to consider, but with respect to the natural coordinate system. That is h1 equal to a naught plus a1 zeta plus a2 zeta square plus a3 zeta cube. Therefore, we need to find what is a naught, a1, a2, a3 as usual. So that quotient we are going to consider by applying the boundary condition. What is boundary condition means at node 1, what is h1? Here node 1 what is h1 equal to how much? Or n1 equal to how much? 1. Therefore, and at node 1 what is zeta value? What is the zeta value? Minus 1. Correct now. This I am going to substitute in equation number 1. So therefore, if you substitute here in place of h1 is 1, in place of zeta is minus 1, then you will get like this. Let's go for second boundary condition. What is second boundary condition is here. Here at node 1, your dn1 by dz dou or d differentiation both are same. So dh1 by d zeta is what the value here means dn1 by d zeta. I will write it then it no confuse for all. See, n1 nothing but h1. Similarly, n2 nothing but h2. n3 nothing but h3. n4 nothing but h4. Okay, first you keep this in mind. Okay, so h1 is nothing but your v1 or q1 with respect to this figure. N2 is nothing but q2 or theta 2. h3 nothing but q3 or v3. h4 nothing but q4 or theta 4. That is very important. See, theta value what is there? That is q2. No, q2 is nothing but theta 2. Keep this in mind. Always this theta 1 are nothing but with respect to this figure is q1. What is there? That is with respect to dh2 by dh2 by d zeta. dh2 by d zeta. Similarly, what is here slope is there, no? h4. This is nothing but dh4 by dh4 by d zeta. How we taken there, no? dn4 by dx. With respect to x we taken, with respect to zeta we have to consider. Therefore, at node 1, what is dh1 by d zeta become 0, no? Because slope is at node 1 is dh2 by d zeta. Are you getting? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
See, at node 1, h1 is 1. That is nothing but vertical displacement. What about what slope with respect to the h1 is at node 1? 0, right? At node 1, with respect to the vertical displacement is 1. Because h1 is nothing but vertical displacement. What about h1 with respect to theta will be there? That is 0. Slope is 0. Correct, no? At node 1. The slope with respect to the h1 is 0. Similarly, at node 1, what is the vertical displacement? Is there s2, that is 0. Similarly, at node 1, what is the deflection is there? No, ds2 by d zeta equal to how much will be there at node 1? q2. q2 nothing but ds2 by d zeta. Correct? No? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Are you understanding or not?
Yes, sir.
I will repeat once again. Don't confuse. Your H1 is nothing but what you know. This H1 is nothing but vertical displacement. That's why equal to 1. Your dou h1 or dh1 by d zeta is nothing but slope. But slope is actually dh2 by d zeta. That's why that is become 0 here. Similarly, s2. S2 means it is not actually vertical displacement. It is a slope. Therefore, vertical displacement is 0. But slope is at, at node 1 is 1. Similarly, with respect to zeta equal to minus 1, but at node 1, your h3, h4 corresponding their slopes also become 0, 0, 0, 0. Are you getting? Are you getting? Hello? Are you people are understanding or not? You tell me. You people understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, when zeta equal to 1 means at node 2. Here, what is the h1 value here at node 2? H1 value is what? What is the h1 value here at node 2? At node 2, what is the h1 value will be there? 0, no? Here at node 2, h1 value is 0 and its slope also 0. Similarly, h2 also 0 and its slope also 0. Correct, no? That is a property of shape function, Hermite shape function, isn't it? Hello? Hello?
sir.
That is a property. Similarly, what is H3? When zeta is at node 2, what is the H3 equal to? 1, no. But its slope become what? Its slope become what?
Zero.
0. Similarly, H4 become at node 2, H4. What is the vertical displacement? Is 0. And its slope is 1 because H4 nothing but slope. H2 nothing but slope. That's why it is 1. Understand this table, all of you? Understand this table, all of you? So this boundary condition, what is there? That I am going to substitute in this equation. That is in H1 equation, I'm going to substitute these two boundary condition. For H2 equation, these two boundary condition. H3 equation, these two boundary condition, I'm going to substitute. When zeta equal to -1, when zeta equal to +1, that's condition. See, when H1 equal to 1, zeta is -1. Therefore, I'm substituted this, we got this one. Similarly, and it second boundary condition, its slope is 0. Its slope is 0 when zeta is -1. When zeta is -1. So therefore, I want derivative. Derivative means I should differentiate with respect to zeta. That equation number 7.7. Therefore, if I differentiate this one, we'll got a1 because this is 0, this is 1, this is 2a2, and this is 3a3 zeta square. So therefore, if you substitute this boundary condition, this is become 0, and in place of zeta, I need to substitute -1. Therefore, you will get the equation like this. That is minus 2a2 minus 1 whole square become how much? Minus 1 whole square become how much? Minus 1 whole square become how much?
Plus one.
Plus 1. That is equal to 3a1. Let's call the equation as B. Let's go to the second boundary condition. What is second boundary condition? Here. For H1, one more boundary condition is this one. When zeta is 1, zeta equal to 1, that means at node 2, H1 equal to 0 and its slope also becomes 0. That I am going to substitute. H1 when H1 equal to 0, zeta equal to +1. I am going to substitute this boundary condition in place of first equation here. So therefore, this becomes 0, a0, a1, a2, a3 will get. Let's call this equation number C. Similarly, what is the next boundary condition? At zeta equal to 1, its slope become how much? Slope of H1 become how much? Slope of H1 become how much? At zeta equal to 1, its slope of H1 become how much? Hello? The first boundary condition we derived for when zeta is -1. H1 equal to 1 and its slope is 0. Now we are going to apply next one boundary condition is at when zeta equal to 1. H1 is 0 and its slope also become how much? How much is their here value? 0, no?
Yes, sir.
0. Therefore, that I am going to substitute now. This slope of the H1 is 0 and zeta equal to 1. So where I am going to substitute? I am going to substitute in this equation because this is the dH1 by d zeta. That's why. So a1 plus 2a2 into zeta. Zeta means how much? 0. Sorry, not 0, 1. And 3a zeta square. Zeta square nothing but 1 square. Nothing but 3a3 only left. Let's call this equation number. Let's call this equation number D. Now what is the next step I'm going to do is just a simplification. Add a and c. Where is a? This is the a. C is nothing but this one. If you add it, what is the thing you will get it? 1 equal to 2 a naught plus a2. Therefore, a naught plus a2 become half. You will get a naught to become half. Similarly, add b and d. Where is b? B is here. This is the b equation. Where is d? This one. So therefore, if these two equation if you add it, you will get 0 equal to 2a1 plus 6a3 because plus a1 minus a1 get cancelled. That's why. So therefore, a1 become 3 times of A1 become 3 times of A3. A1 become 3 times of A3. So therefore, substitute E and F in C. E and F in C. Where is C? Here. In place of A1, we can substitute 3AC. In place of A0 plus A2, we can substitute off. Therefore, if we substitute that, you'll get A3 as 1 by 4. A3 as 1 by 4. Therefore, if we got A3, we can calculate A1. A1 is minus 3 A3. Therefore, minus 3 into 1 by 4. That is become minus 3 by 4. So we got A3 A1. Therefore, we can able to calculate A2. So how will calculate A2? A3 we got, A1 you got. A2. Where is A2? Yeah, A2 is here. So A2 how much is there? So your A2 is A0 plus A2 equal to half. So therefore, you can able to calculate A2. It is A2. A3 we got, A1 we got. Yeah. We already know A2 is 0. Where is A2 is 0? Where? There is A2 equation. A2. Yeah. See, in equation number D, A1 plus 2A2 plus 3A3 is there. So we know already what is A1 and what is A3. Therefore, if you substitute in this equation, you'll get A2 as 0. A2 as 0. So once you got A2 value, again here if you substitute A0 plus A2 equal to half, then what is the A0 also become half. Why? Because A2 is already 0. So like this we got A1, A2, A3. So all these quotient value, finally we are going to substitute in equation number 1. Therefore, H1 equal to A0 means half, A1 means 3 minus 3 by 4 into zeta plus A2 means 0, 0 into zeta square 0, and A3 nothing but 1 by 4 into zeta cube. And if you in this you can take common as 1 by 4, then finally you will get H1 as 1 by 4 2 minus 3 zeta plus z cube. So like this we got it. So that is what I told you, this one. H1 is nothing but this much. So how we got this? By doing like this we got it. Okay. Hello? 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 See, if in any this two derivation you can do it any one. More they will not ask you any usually they'll not ask you which coordinate system. If Cartesian means this is one, local means this is what we are doing now. But anything not asked means you follow this one only, very easy. But how this equation anyway you should know with respect to local coordinate also, no? That's what I'm right explaining now, how that derivation will going to proceed with respect to the natural coordinate system. So are you getting what I'm saying? See, you have to consider for H1 as usual your polynomial equation. You have to substitute this boundary condition. When zeta is minus 1, H1 is 1 and slope is 0. When zeta equal to 1, H1 is 0 and slope also 0. And therefore, by using that, we need to find coefficients of A0, A1, A2, A3. Then finally, you have to substitute in the first equation. And therefore, H1 you get it like this. Understood? Understood? All of you.
Yes, sir.
So second boundary condition. So second, not second boundary condition, second shape function H2. Again in H2, same procedure. See, same polynomial equation you consider. A0 plus A1 zeta plus A2 zeta square plus up to cube. So now we have to follow this step. That is when zeta equal to minus 1, what is the H2 equal to? What is the H2 equal to? When zeta is minus 1, what is the H2 equal to? Here, vertical displacement is what? 0. But its slope is become how much? Slope is become how much? 1. This boundary condition we need to substitute here. Therefore, at node 1, S2 is 0 when zeta is minus 1. Therefore, substitute in the equation number 1. Again, you get like this. Second boundary condition is when H2 slope is equal to 1 when zeta is minus 1. But here there is no d zeta. Therefore, we need to differentiate again with respect to zeta first. Therefore, you will get like this. Now you can substitute the boundary condition dH2 by d zeta equal to 1. And in place of zeta, we need to substitute as minus 1. Therefore, you will get the equation B like this. So this is the first boundary condition. Again, what is the second boundary condition now? With respect to H2, what is the second boundary condition? What is the second boundary condition? When zeta equal to 1, H2 equal to how much? Here, H2 how much? When zeta is plus 1, 0. And its slope become how much? Slope become how much? What is the slope of this here? What is the value?
0, sir.
0. Therefore, what I'm going to do, same steps you have to follow it. When zeta equal to 1, its slope is 0. Therefore, in place of here, we need to substitute where and all zeta is there plus 1, where and all slope is there 0. That is 0 equal to a1 plus 2a2 into 1 plus 3at into 1 square. That is nothing but this one. Let's call this equation number D. Now next step is what? No, a0, a1, a2, a3, you have to find it. How to find it? By doing simplification. Add a and c. Where is a? A is here. C is where? C is here. If you add this, you'll get 0 equal to a0 plus a2. But still, a0, a2, a3 are unknown. For that, we'll proceed further simplification. Again, adding b and d. Where is b? B is here. Where is d? D is here. You have to add these two. Therefore, again, you'll get a1 plus 3a3 as half. Therefore, a1 become half of minus 3a3. Now, this e value, this f value, we need to substitute in equation number C. That is here. So, therefore, a1 plus a3 means, sorry, a0 plus a2 means we can call it as 0. And a1 means we can call it as half minus 3a3. If you substitute those value, then finally you'll get a3 as 1 by 4. Once you got a3, you can find a1 because a1 means half of 3a3. Therefore, you'll get minus 1 by 4. Therefore, we can calculate a0. How to calculate a0? You substitute a2 value, a3 value, sorry, a1 value, a3 value here. Therefore, you can able to calculate a2 first. What is the a2 will get here? If you substitute in equation number D, you can get the value a2 as minus 1 by 4. Therefore, finally we got a2. a2 we got means we can able to calculate a0. How? We know 0 equal to a0 plus a2. Therefore, in place of a2, I can substitute minus 1 by 4. That is, if you transfer that side, that is become plus 1 by 4. Therefore, we got a0, a1, a2, a3. Where I have to substitute again finally? Where I need to substitute back? We got all the quotient. Where I have to substitute? In this first equation of H2. Therefore, if you substitute in place of a0 as 1 by 4, a1 as minus 1 by 4, a2 as minus 1 by 4, and a3 as plus 1 by 4. Therefore, if you take 1 by 4 common, then finally you will get H2 as like this. So that is what we done here. Therefore, H2 nothing but N2 we got like this. Understand? You have to simplify, then you'll get all this value. Hello?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Similarly, next is H3. What is the boundary condition we need to apply? When zeta equal to minus 1 means what is the boundary condition we need to apply? H3 is 0 and its slope become how much? and its slope become what?
0, sir.
0. That we need to apply. So again, third Hermite function, if you derive it, you have to derive it, means same steps you have to follow. First, you have to consider the polynomial equation up to cubic term. Then apply the first boundary condition. When zeta is -1, S3 is 0. Therefore, you will get the equation like this. Let's call this equation 1 or A. And the slope. Slope means we need to derive this with respect to zeta. Then you will get the slope equation. Again, you apply the second boundary condition. When zeta equal to -1, what is its slope? What is its slope?
1, sir.
1. Therefore, we need to substitute that. Then you'll get the equation like this. Similarly, at node 2. At node 1 is over. Now we'll come to node 2. When zeta equal to 1, what is H2? Sorry, H3. What is H3? What is H3 value? When zeta equal to 1, what is H3 value will be there?
Sir.
1. And its slope becomes 0. That we are going to apply now. When zeta is -1, H here. When zeta is, where is that? H3, no? When zeta is +1, your S3 equal to 1. Therefore, you substitute in the equation number here. In place of H, we can substitute how much? 1. In place of zeta, you can substitute 1. Therefore, you will get the equation like this. Now, second boundary condition in this here, when zeta equal to +1, its slope is 0. Therefore, when zeta equal to 1, S3 slope is 0. That we are going to substitute in this equation. Therefore, you will get the equation like this. Finally, we need to find A0, A1, A2, A3. All the boundary conditions we applied. Same way you have to follow. Add A and C. A equation is here. C's equation is here. You have to add it. Then you will get A0 plus A2 as off. Again, if you add B and D, where is B? B is here and D is here. If you add it, you will get A1 as 3 times of A3. So this A1 value, this A0 plus A2 value, you have to substitute in equation number C. That is here again. Therefore, you will get A3 as -1/4. Once you got A3, you can calculate A1 because A1 is -3A3. That is become +3/4. So once you got A1, A3, we can calculate A2. Where you have to substitute? Here only. So if you substitute A1 value, A3 value, you can able to calculate A2 value. Therefore, how much you'll get A2? You'll get A2 as 0. Once you got A2, you can substitute in this equation and you can get A0. Therefore, that A0 you will get as plus of. So we got A1, A2, A3, A2, A3 and A0. Where I have to substitute? In this first equation of H3. We need to substitute back. That's our value. Again, you can take 1/4 is the common here. Therefore, S3 become 1/4, 2 plus 3 zeta minus z cube. So that is what we got here. N3 or H3. 2 plus 3 zeta minus zeta cube divided by 4. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Last shape function, H4. When zeta is -1, what is the H4 value? What is the H4 value?
0.
0. And its slope is 0. When zeta equal to 1, H4 is 0 and its slope is equal to 1. That we need to substitute. So for that, we are going to consider the shape function same H4 and its polynomial functions are A0 plus A1 zeta up to cubic term we consider. Now apply at node 1, when zeta is -1, H4 is 0. First boundary condition you apply to the equation number 1. Therefore, you'll get the equation like this: zeta as -1 and H4 as 0. Similarly, and its slope is here. When zeta is -1, its slope is 0. Therefore, that you have to apply. So, but there is no slope here. Again, we need to differentiate with respect to zeta first, this one. Then you will get the equation like this. Then in place of zeta, substitute as -1. And in place of slope of h4, you substitute as 0. Then you will get the equation like this. Now, second boundary condition. What is second boundary conditions? Refer this table again. Comes here at node 2. When zeta equal to 1, h4 equal to 0, and its slope is become 1. That we need to substitute. So therefore, I'm going to substituting that next one. One minute. So that page is not there actually. See, if you follow same steps, no? What is the steps you have to follow it? Yeah, same thing. You have to apply these two boundary condition. When zeta equal to when zeta is -1, its slope is 0. After that, you have to apply again this boundary condition, which is the boundary condition. When zeta is +1, h4 is 0 and its slope is 1. If we substitute again in the same way, if we calculate a1, a2, a3, and you have to substitute in this equation, and finally h4 you will get as 1 by 4 minus 1 minus zeta square plus zeta cube. So finally h1 is with respect to the natural quantity is 1 by 4 2 minus 3 zeta plus z cube. H2 is this one, h3, h4. So this is the shape function of Hermite, shape function for the beam element with respect to the natural coordinate system. I think that one page is skipped. Sorry for that. So here, that is what n4 is there, no? This is the one what we got. So this is n1, n2, n3, n4 or h1, h2, h3, h4 with respect to the natural coordinate system. With respect to the natural coordinate system. Keep this in mind. Natural coordinate system. Okay. So, but in exam, if they ask only shape function, Hermite shape function for B means you can, I think this is a better, you can follow it. First derivation what we done. If particularly they asked for the natural coordinate system is you follow this method. This is lengthy but easy only, but you have to same steps you have to repeat 4 times because h1, h2, h3, h4 is there, no? Therefore, by referring this table, so totally you have to apply how many boundary condition means 1, 2, for each h1 you need to apply 4 boundary condition. 4 means for each h1 4 boundary condition you have to apply. That's why it looks like lengthy, but similar steps you have to calculate a0, a1, a2, a3, and you have to substitute back in the h1 equation, h2 equation, h3 equation, h4 equation. So then you'll get the, with respect to the zeta condition is h1 is 1 by 4 2 minus 3 zeta plus zeta cube. H2 has 1 by 4 1 minus zeta square plus zeta cube. H3 has 1 by 4 2 plus 3 zeta minus zeta cube, and h4 has 1 by 4 minus 1 minus zeta plus zeta square plus zeta cube. So this is what you will get, a Hermite shape function with respect to the natural coordinate system. So this is about the Hermite shape function and it's very important. Okay, till now they are not asked with respect to which coordinate system. Some textbook follow natural coordinate system, some textbook follow global Cartesian coordinate system. So I think my suggestion is you better you follow Cartesian coordinate system without any confusion. You can easily get it. Is what we are going to do. Understand?
Okay, sir. Yes.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next derivation, there are three important derivation as I told. One is Hermite shape function derivation, one is stiffness matrix derivation, and one more is they're not as much, but on two times maybe asked work potential. So now we are moving to the second type derivation in that stiffness matrix. So we know what is stiffness matrix for the beam bar presses. Same thing for the beam also, it going to be changes. So what is that k value for this beam element means that we are going to do the derivation now. So as we know, in stiffness matrix derivation, you can do either direct method or it can do strain energy method. So here we are going to follow the stiffness matrix using strain energy method. See, for that again we consider one beam element at node 1 V1 theta 1, at node 2 V2 theta 2. So the strain energy for the beam element, again this is the direct equation we derived in a MOM, that only we are going to taking now. U is equal to half of integration of 0 to L m square by EI into dx. In case of bar and trusses, we taken what strain energy as half of sigma into epsilon, that is strain into dA. That is what we consider. That is in case of bar and truss. But in case of beam, it is different the strain energy. That is m square by EI into dx. So let's keep this equation number 1. We need to find what is the value of m. So as we know, one famous bending equation, m is equal to EI into d square v by dx square. This is you know well. I think this is what used in a DME. EI d square v by dx square. Hello? Hello?
Sir,
See, this, what is that equation? M by I is equal to, M by is equal to what?
sigma by y
Sigma by Y is equal to what?
by r.
E by
R.
R. This is the one beam bending equation, and one more bending. This is the bending stress equation actually, and B nothing but M is nothing but bending moment. So this is the bending moment equation with respect to the slope when you're considering. So that is deflection. EI into d square V by dx square. So this is comes in the topic deflection of beams in the MOM, as well as I think you may be used in the DME also. This is one bending equation. M is equal to EI into d square V by dx square. That is nothing but dV by dx, nothing but slope. So therefore, this value I'm going to substitute in the equation number 1. So in place of m, I'm going to substitute EI d square V by dx square. Here m square is there, therefore whole square it will come. Next step is half of 0 to L, 0 to L, half of 0 to L. This is not there. So EI whole square become nothing but EI whole square will take separately. D square V by dx square whole square will take separately. Next step, what I'm going to do, yeah, EI is there, correct. So this EI is nothing but m square divided by EI, no? That is the EI. Therefore, what happened here? Once one EI and another one EI will get cancelled. Therefore, I will take constant outside. EI is the constant. That I will take outside, and 1 by 2 anyway outside is there. Therefore, integration of 0 to L d square V by dx square whole square into dx. Let's call this equation number 1. And in Hermite shape function, we derive that V is equal to N1 delta 1 plus N2 delta 2 plus N3 delta 3 plus N4 delta 4. But we want here d square V by dx square. Therefore, d square V by dx square is nothing but means we are going to differentiate this v equation with respect to x two times. Therefore, d square v by ds square is nothing but is equal to d square n1 by dx1 into delta 1, d square n by n2 by dx square into delta 2, d square n3 by dx square into delta 3, d square n4 by dx square delta 4. So we are going to differentiate this with respect to x two times. This equation we are going to express in a matrix form now. How? D square v by dx square is equal to b1 b2 b3 b4 into matrix delta 1 delta 2 delta 3 delta 4. We called this as all b1 b2 b3 b4 as b matrix. This delta 1 delta 2 delta 4 as delta matrix. What is b? What is b1? We consider b1 is nothing but d square n1 by dx square. That is what we consider here. What is b2? b2 nothing but d square n by ds square. What is b3? d square n3 by ds square. What is b4? We consider here d square n4 by ds square. And delta 1 delta 2 delta 3 as usual. Therefore consider these here. D square v by ds square is equal to b into delta we got. We are going to squaring the both side. Therefore d square v by ds square whole square b into delta whole square. Therefore in matrix form, whenever matrix whole square is there, how we can write this as means, because b and delta are both are matrix whole square is made, that is nothing but transpose of transpose b into b transpose matrix delta into delta transpose matrix. If you multiply these two, is nothing but equivalent to this. B matrix whole square nothing but b transpose into b matrix. Delta matrix whole square is nothing but delta into delta transpose matrix. That is a matrix feature. Therefore, d square v by ds square whole square we can substitute as this much value in place of equation number 1. What is equation number 1? They consider, yeah, in place of here. Therefore, u is equal to half into half ei into half 0 to L. In place of this, I substitute this much value into delta x as usual. Next, what we are going to do, next step is, I'm going to rewrite the equation. How we are going to rewriting? Delta t matrix we are taking outside into ei 0 to L bt b into ds bracket delta. This is what the way of other way we can write the equation. That is the rewrite the equation. So now why we done this means half of delta t, and what is this inside the bracket term is there. Inside the bracket term is there. This whole term we called as k. That is nothing but stiffness matrix. Stiffness matrix. So what is k we consider? K is nothing but ei into 0 to L b to the power of t b into ds. Therefore, what is B transpose matrix? What is B? We are going to consider that separately. So B we know already. It's a row matrix. B1, B2, B3, B4. Therefore, B transpose means transpose matrix. You have to write. This is a row matrix. Convert into column matrix. Now I need product of BT into B. Therefore, now we need to do the matrix multiplication. EI is equal to 0 to L, 0 to L as usual method. First row, first column, you know that. Follow it. B1 into B1, B1 square. Next B1 into B2. Next B1 into B3. Next b1 into b4. Similarly, b2 into b1, b2 into b2, b2 square, b2 into b3, b2 b3, b2 into b4. Next b3 into b1, b3 into b2, b3 square, b4 into, like that you have to multiply. So once B transpose into B matrix, if you multiply, you got a matrix like this. So next step, what we are going to do is, each B1 value we are going to calculate separately. We know B1 what we consider dn by dx square. Again, what is n1? Now your shape function will be used here. First, what we derived n1 as, n1 is nothing but 1 minus 3x square L square plus 2s cube by L cube, or this one. Any one equation, you can use it. So that is what we are going to do here. That is what I told you to memorize that. So n1 is nothing but 1 minus 3s square by L square plus 2x cube by L cube. But inside the bracket you have to write, because outside d square by dx square is there. Therefore, we need to differentiate this with respect to x 2 times. So differentiation of 1 is 0. Differentiation of x square is 2x square. 2 3 is a 2x. Differentiation of x square become 2 times of x. Correct now? Huh? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So 2 3 is a 6. 6 into x is there. Again, if you differentiate one more time, the differentiation of x become 1. Therefore, that is become minus 6 by L square plus x cube. X cube is nothing but 2 times of x square. Sorry, 3 times of x square. Again, if I differentiate, that is become 2 times of x. So therefore, 6 2s are 12 x by L cube. So by differentiating this equation with respect to 2 times x square, then you will get b1 as like this. Similarly, b2. b2 means nothing but d square. d square n2 by ds square. Again, n2 means what? What we consider here. n2 is nothing but x minus 2x square by L, s square by L square. That we are going to substitute here. There is, we are going to substitute here. Again, if you differentiate 2 times, b2 will get like this. Similarly, b3. Similarly, b4. All these three, if you differentiate the n3, n4 2 times, then we'll got b3, b4 as 6 by L minus 4 by L cube, b4 as minus 2 by L plus 6 square L square. Okay. Therefore, and also here, you can see integration of b1 square, integration of b1 b2, integration of b1 b3, integration of b1 b4, integration of b2 b1, integration of b2 square, like this there. Therefore, what is these terms separately if we derive? Suppose exam first we will take it b1 square. Now what is there? bn square. This integration of b1 square, b1 nothing but what? This one, 6 minus 6 by L square plus 12x L cube. That whole square. If you integrate this with respect to x and substitute the limits, upper limit is L, lower limit 0, then you'll get 12 by L cube. Similarly, integration of b1 b2 next term. What is b1? This is the b1 value. What is b2? This is the b2. Now you have to integrate, and if you apply the limits, then finally you'll get 6 by L square. We are not going to showing the steps, we are skipping that step. That's all. Therefore, similarly, if you derive all these three terms, substitute all the b2, b3, b4 value and integrate with respect to x, and substitute this L and 0, and finally your k will get as like this. K is equal to E by L cube 12 6L minus 12 plus 6L 6L 4L square minus 6L 2L square minus 12 minus 6L, like this you'll get. So this is the stiffness matrix for a beam. We are going to use it. Again, this is a symmetric matrix. You have to use it. See, in case of beam, it is different. In case of truss, it is different. In case of bar, it is different. That is what I changed. Stiffness matrix will be different for different cases. So compared to this derivation is the Hermite function only very important. But anyway, you should know how these steps going to be begin. Or that we derive this. I will explain you once again. We are going to consider stiffness matrix for the beam by considering the strain energy method. So for that, strain energy for the beam element is 0 to L m square by EI into dx 1 by 2. Therefore, this m from the bending equation, we know m is equal to EI by d square v by dx square. We are going to substitute. Then, therefore, one EI, another EI get cancelled. Therefore, one EI will be left, that will take outside because that is a constant. Next step is we need to find the value. What is the ds square by d by dx whole square? By considering, we know v equal to n1 delta 1 n2 delta 2 up to n4. So therefore, we want d square by dx square whole square. Therefore, first we are going to differentiate this one with respect to the x square two times. That d square by v by dx square is equal to d square n1 by dx square into delta 1 plus d square n by dx square delta 2, like that, so on. Then next step is this equation we are going to write it in a matrix form like b1 b2 b3 b4 into delta 1 delta 2 delta 3 4. Therefore, in general we can call b1 b2 b3 b4 as b, delta 1 delta 2 delta 4 as delta. So therefore, what is b? We consider b1 means d square n by dx. What is b2? D square n by dx. What is b3? D square n3 by dx. What is b4? D square n4 by dx square. That is what we consider here. So, but now we want here d square v by dx square whole square. Therefore, we are going to squaring on both sides. And this matrix squaring we can write as b transpose into b and delta into delta transpose matrix. So this value of d square v by dx square whole square we are going to substitute in this equation number 1. That is here. So therefore, we are going to rewrite this as like this. Inside the bracket, we are going to write EI 0 to L BT BT B into ds, and outside the bracket delta into half of delta transpose matrix. So all this term inside the bracket we call as K. That is known as stiffness matrix. Therefore, we are going to what is this value BT and B we are going to derive. So we know B matrix, but we don't know BT. Transpose matrix we need to find out first. So B matrix is a column row matrix. B transpose matrix become column matrix. So therefore, product of BT and B you have to do it. So therefore, if you do product means you have to multiply this two matrix, you will get BT into B as this much. This we have to substitute here. Therefore, outside the integral EI, total integral of this 0 to L into ds. Therefore, we need to integrate b1 square b1 b2. For that b1 b2 b3 we have to find out. For that we are going to consider b1 means we consider as d square n by ds square. Again, what is n1? In the Hermite shape function we derived that in Cartesian coordinate with respect to that n1 as this much, n2 as this one, n3 as this one, n4 as this much. That we are going to substitute back here. We are going to substitute back. And if you differentiate two times here again with respect to x, then we'll get b1 as this much, b2 as this much, b3, b4. Now, after that b1, b2 we got, we need to integrate this with respect to 0 to L. So therefore, b1 we got, b1 square means whole square if you substitute, and if you integrate and after the apply the limits, you'll get b1 square as 12 by L cube. Similarly, this 6 by L square. Like this, if you do it, and finally you'll get K matrix for the beam is EI by L cube 12 6L minus 6L minus 12 minus 6L, like that. You'll get it. So this finally what you have to memorize well is this matrix to do the problem. Without this you can't do. So this is the derivation of stiffness matrix for the in case of a Compared to this, Hermite only most of the time they ask it. You have to memorize well. Hermite shape. Understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, by seeing when I explaining, it makes it easy. But finally, in exam, you have to memorize. For that, you have to do practice. Not one time, 2 to 3 times. You have to practice well. So until unless you can't be memorize the steps of any derivations, that is very important. So practicing writing is only the mantra. Not able to mug up the things, derivations that you know well. Clear?
Yes, sir.
All of you understood?
Sir.
The last part of the,
Yes, sir.
I think 11:30, no time.
Yes, sir.
So in the next class, we are going to cover last important one derivation. Not much important, one time or 2 times. That is potential energy function for the beam. After that, we'll take up the problems. Okay,
Yes, sir.
beams problems are very important. One fixed problem, fix. You know well beam problem, one fixed problem. Okay, so let us stop it here today, and